Hey guys, Hunter Trophy Hunter here with another episode of The Wreck. Leave a like, leave a comment on how you feel about the series so far. If you're feeling generous, subscribe. Alright, let's continue with The Wreck.
Good mom? Bad mom?
Good mom.
Maybe I should start with telling you the fun moments. That was the year before you were born. Alex had been on my ass to get in touch with the friend of a cousin of one of his friends who was a producer. Anyway, I was supposed to schedule a meeting with him during the next Cannes festival. I wasn't planning on going to Cannes at all. But I did what I was told. I managed to slip into a party where I eventually met the guy, and it worked out. Yeah. We spent the night smoking cigs, sounding off about the worst turkeys from the festival. And a few weeks later, I was writing a spec for a series.
That's cool.
It kind of came out of nowhere. I was feeling gunky and I was a bit late, so I decided to take a test without putting too much stock into it. And here is the picture I sent to your dad. I remember that the stick wasn't even dry yet. Can you imagine the surprise? I'll admit that back then, I didn't know whether I would be pregnant one day. Your dad and I hadn't really planned it this way. We'd been talking for a while about having a kid one day, but that was only a plan. In the meantime, we were being careful, but we obviously hadn't met you yet. Of course, a mere condom wasn't going to stop you.
Okay.
As soon as I saw the test, my head exploded, my little fawn. I was happy. Just happy. Nothing else. It was an incredible feeling. I was so fired up by your birth. I felt like I was high on drugs. I was taking care of you, working, seeing friends. I was living. Alex and I even became involved in politics. We were trading weekends to attend climate marches. I was
the heck?
ready to fight to make a change in the world. Thus, within the span of a year, I delivered 2 babies. Astrid, in January, just over 8 pounds, hungry as a wolf, and a mug to die for. And then, my first professional screenplay in August. 47 pages. A veritable leap forward in my career. All of a sudden, things just fell into place. I was a screenwriter. I was getting paid for writing. Sure, it was a crappy series, but that turd paid very well.
Yeah, but it
I
still
was
feels good
so
to
proud
follow your
of
dreams.
everything that was happening to me.
Ah,
And at the same time, I lost sleep over it for weeks.
why?
Because there were some dark thoughts too. The ones your light could not dispel.
Ooh.
You didn't really get the chance to witness it, but this is a funny time we're living in. Imagine having an incredible daughter and a job you've wanted forever, and then you get glued to a screen, and it bums you out. I would see people on social media, you know, people I would never even have heard of in real life, And they were great parents, great artists, working on great stuff, having great success. Everybody seemed way ahead of me. And it felt like it was my fault for being so behind. How dared I aspire to being happy?
God, that's so relatable.
A couple of months before you were born, Marie showed up with a cardboard box under her arm. She had found the mobile. When I was preparing for your arrival, I hung it above your crib. After you were born, I would spend hours watching it turn every time you breathed. It was always moving, finding its balance. Wonderful. Alive. Just like you, and also so fragile. Way too delicate. A mere gust of wind could have shattered it to a million pieces. Just like you. I found it adorable that Marie came to bring us this mobile. And yet, I was scared when I learned I was pregnant. I was scared at the mere idea of telling her. It was beyond me. I panicked. So I decided to hide you for as long as I could. Obviously, she eventually noticed that I was pregnant. And her reaction was unexpected. She was jumping for joy. Why had I been so scared? It seemed so silly. $58 tons per year. A kid equals 58 tons of carbon dioxide per year. That's the same as 58 plane trips to New York and back, or burning 50 tons of coal. Having a baby in this world, as everything was collapsing around us, that was a stupid idea. I know breastfeeding while on a cell phone isn't exactly what you picture from a perfect mother. Well, that only happened once, or maybe twice, or a bunch of times, actually. I loved connecting with you, you know? It was a magnetic force. Time disappeared when I looked into your eyes, but sometimes I was overwhelmed by everything else. The earth that keeps on spinning, the anxiety of not doing enough, projects at a standstill while others are going full speed, and then the fear that it would all stop. That's always a little bit there. But I think I was stronger than that in the end. Oh, wow. I just remembered something that happened years ago. I guess I was 16 or 17 years old. I was in my room, staring at this mobile instead of doing my homework. Marie was in the next room, the living room, giving an interview. It was a first. I overheard her talking to the journalist with a soft voice. She was obviously trying to win her over. It was funny at first. She was giving all these juicy details about the crazy nights of a female artist in the 80s. And then she said she got pregnant after one of those nights. And at that time, she seriously thought about giving up the child. And suddenly, I understood that that child, the one she didn't want, that mistake, that was me.
Oh, God.
To me, being a mom was one of the greatest joys in my life. I wanted to feel you growing inside of me and then meet you and live all that, the whole experience. And writing was the same. I really wanted to do it, and then I actually did. I wanted these things. I bore them and I cherished them. But I struggled with them too, because I was scared. I had doubts, but really most of all I had this lingering feeling that maybe I shouldn't have been there.
What are you talking
And when
about?
I lost you, and writing had lost its meaning, that feeling came back with a vengeance. This feeling, this knowledge that whatever I do, it is not enough.
really sorry.
It's hard to be a good parent when you're a damaged adult. You become responsible for a life. That requires courage, confidence, and a lot of nerve. And it's really easy to get it wrong.
What does that mean?
How can I explain? For the first few months of your life, you were like an extension of me. You couldn't talk, you couldn't walk, you could barely see, actually. And I was feeding you out of my own body.
Yuck.
Yeah, yuck! Having your life in my hands. That funny feeling.
Oh,
That's
Burnham.
what being a mom was all about to me. And then one day... I read a book.
A book? Not a movie?
Nope. No moving images, just tiny written words.
What was it?
Heart Snatcher by Boris Vian. A weird and poetic book. Also terrifying, in a way. Very, very grim.
That sounds fun.
Well, actually, it's great. And perhaps you will read it one day. You'll never read it.
You're right. I won't. But you can still tell me about it.
All right. Well, there's this character named Clémentine. She gives birth to triplets and gives them these stupid names. As they grow up, she starts to behave increasingly strangely.
Such as?
She starts imagining things, these situations where horrible things happen to the kids.
Okay. I understand why you might enjoy this book.
What makes you say that?
No reason. Does she do any other weird stuff?
She locks them up in cages.
Her kids?
Yes. They're nice cages, though. Very comfortable.
Oh, well, that's fine then.
They don't like it any more than you. But it gets worse.
It does?
She eats rotten meat.
Ew! Mom, what is this book?
I told you, it's weird.
Why is she doing that?
At first, she does it so that the kids get the best bits. But after a while, she starts to think that if something bad happens to her, then her kids will be spared. She would be sort of like a lightning rod, you know?
All I know is that this sounds really weird.
It does sound really weird.
Definitely. But I remember reading that part, sitting in the bedroom, and I looked at you, sleeping in the crib, and what she was doing started making sense.
For real?
I knew it was crazy, but the idea of doing anything for your children, of never failing because you've done everything, I found that amazing. There was just one thing I didn't know yet. The most important part of being a parent, and also the hardest lesson to learn. You need to trust your children.
Trust them to read non-weird books?
Trust them to live. You weren't there so I could feel like a good mother. You were there to live your life, to become yourself. Seems obvious, doesn't it? But I didn't see it. So I spent a lot of my time feeling guilty. Telling myself that I didn't deserve you.
What? I don't believe it. I was your biggest fan, you know?
Really?
Of course. You were relentless. You even found the time to work on your scripts. You were working your ass off to make your stories amazing while you were busy taking care of me. How did you manage to be strong like that?
It was really hard. I almost gave up so many times. My career wasn't going where I wanted, certainly not as fast as I wanted, but I held on. You gave me so much energy.
I presume I took a lot too.
Of course, sweetie. I often wish you had an off switch, especially when I saw my face in the mirror the next morning. But that was just a detail. Every morning was magical. I'd grab you in my arms. You'd smile back. You trusted me. I had no more doubt, no more questions. I knew exactly who I was. No one had ever looked at me that way. What an incredible gift.
It's just a shame you spent your best years writing for soap opera.
Wow! You do a great Marie impression. I'm better now, you know? It still hurts like hell. But I get it. I can survive this. On a good day, I can even convince myself that it could be worse. You might have been a goth teenager.
What's a goth?
Well, I could show you a couple pictures of 14-year-old me. Unfortunately, I think they all got destroyed in a fire or something. Oh, what a shame. You've taught me all of this. You helped me open doors inside myself. That's what allowed me to grow. Of course, I'll go on without you. I have to. But it's really, really sad.
How does the book end?
What book?
Heart Snatcher.
Well, the triplets eat blue slugs, and then they fly away from their mother.
Obviously, blue slugs.
Heart Snatcher.
And are they
Defeat
happy?
unlocked.
Very much.
There are two lessons here. First, Boris Vian was really, really odd. Really. But also second, sometimes there's no sense fighting what will happen anyway. You said it yourself to Auntie Diane. Remember? I understand why you're sad, Mom. But you can't be sad forever. It doesn't help you, and it doesn't help me. Life's short enough as it is. Why waste any more time?
Yeah, for real.
Do you think it's that easy? That I can just press a button and pow?
You can be so egotistical sometimes.
Excuse me?
Where do I fit into all this?
But I was just...
So what? I'm going to be a bad memory for the rest of your life? A distressing thought inside your head? Do you even realize what that means? I'm scared.
What are you scared of, my little phone?
I'm scared that I'll disappear.
But you're already dead.
That's not the point. I'm talking about disappearing from here. This is the only place where I still exist. Just here. But I don't want to be this rusty nail that's killing you by degrees. You do realize that's not me at all? You do know that if you keep at this, I'm not going to exist anywhere. Anymore. You don't have to do this to me, Mom. You don't have to do this to yourself. How much longer do I have to make you miserable?
I know you don't deserve that, my little dear. It's all my fault.
Stop it, Mom. Just stop. You're stuck on repeat. I know that this can be easy to process. And I know that the truth hurts. But right here, right now, you're gonna have to remember. Really.
I'm not sure. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Astrid? Astrid!
God, man.
She's right. Of course she's right. I need to remember now. It's time. I think I'm ready. That's it.
Alright, let's find out what
I
happened in this
remember
crash.
now.
Hopefully the last time.
Not everything, but
You could at least crack a window. All that rain brought a cool front.
it had just rained. The road was wet and slippery.
Ah, shit, I can't drive with these heels on. I didn't sleep all night. I can't focus. Also...
I was exhausted, stressed out, in no condition to drive. I was nervous about meeting with my producer.
Mom, watch for the deer!
I don't know why I didn't see the deer earlier. My mind must have been elsewhere. When I heard your warning, my first thought was to avoid hitting it. they were your favorite animal. So I swerved and we ran off the road. And then... What are you doing, my little fawn?
Playing with Grandma's dollhouse.
What game?
I'm playing you when you weren't a mom yet.
Can I play? I'll be Alex. Hey, cutie. You come here often?
Hi, do you want a baby?
Oh, this is moving a bit fast. What the heck? Let's make the best little girl on Earth.
Of course you'll be the best.
How do you know?
Well, I'm the one making her in my belly, so...
Talking to you was intoxicating. Every time you opened your mouth, I was expecting the unexpected. I loved the way that your little brain continually managed to make sense of the world. But that day, the most astonishing thing was your assurance. How on earth did you have so much trust in me?
Damn, June, I can't believe it. I'm going to be a dad. We're going to be parents. When I got your picture, I yelled so loud, I think 3 guys here had a stroke. I'm just unable to focus on work. I'm so happy. It feels so... I feel like it's going to change my life.
I mean...
No, I mean, it's going to change me. Like, I'll never be the same again. I can't wait. And you, what do you think?
I think you should take the afternoon off and come home.
Oh, okay. But why? Is there an emergency? Do you need me?
I don't need you. But I am wondering what it's like to have sex with a dad.
Wow, what a weird thing to say.
That's what I was thinking.
I'm on
Yeah.
my way.
He was right, you know. Your dad. When you arrived, he changed to his core. Before you were born, he was always a bit lost, a bit wandering through his own life. But from the day you showed up, it was as if everything had become clear for him. As if he finally understood what he was doing here.
No way, that thing's
Listen to me, Juno. You and Alex brought an extraordinary little girl into this world. Astrid was our sunshine. She gave us all a lot of light all through her tiny life. You were able to make such a being because you have it in you. The sun. and the sun never goes out. It shines. So hang on. And shine bright. I know you can. I'm proud of you.
You and Marie have a connection that's peculiar. You used to spend hours in her shop watching her paint. She loved that you were so curious. She smiled at you, explained stuff to you. She asked for your opinion about her work. Can you imagine? When I was 4 years old, I wasn't even allowed in her damn workshop. But you had something inside of you that completely changed her. Actually, I think this is what saved me that day. The idea that even Marie could be touched by a ray of sunlight. There had to be one out there for me too. It might be the right time for me to admit it, my little fawn. You don't have magical powers. You never had any. You didn't put us under a spell. Not Marie, nor your dad or I. It's easy to hide behind the fact that your being there made everything else possible. And to convince ourselves that your not being there is forever locking us out of being happy. But that's not true. The seeds that allowed us to change were always inside of us. Sure, they were buried deeply, but they couldn't wait to grow. And you were simply an incredible, a wonderful beam of sunlight.
She was.
You don't have to do this to me, Mom. You don't have to do this to yourself. How much longer do I have to make you miserable?
My little fawn, I can't do this to you. I don't know if I'll ever be able to forgive myself for what happened, but you've brought too much light in my life for me to reduce you to that.
What is that? Mom, what do you mean by that?
You know what I mean.
I do, but I'm not sure you do. So I'm going to need you to say it. What is that?
The accident. It was an accident.
Yes, it was an accident, Mom. I lived a life full of joy and laughter and vibrating plastic lightsabers.
You shouldn't ever have found that. And it wasn't a lightsaber.
You think I don't know that? I lived a great life full of love. I will always love Dad, Marie, Diane, and you. For everything you've given me. For the cozy spot that you made for me in your lives. And then one day, there was an accident. It was an accident. Say it again.
It was an accident.
An accident. A disaster. A calamity. There's nothing to forgive. It's not your fault. You know that, right? Deep down.
Do I? Then why do I feel all this guilt?
Yeah, that's another mystery. You're angry. But are you sure that you're angry at yourself, Mom?
I don't know.
I believe in you. You'll figure it out. And when you do, you'll make the right decision. I think you're ready now.
I'm ready. Thank you, little fawn. Thank you for your help. You can leave now. I've got this.
I know. I love you very much, Mom.
Well, this shit was pretty fucking depressing.
Me too, Astrid. I love you very, very much. I know you'll always be with me. I can feel you are here, and it gives me strength. And I'm going to need a lot of that if I'm going to go in there. But Marie needs me, and we have a lot to talk about. I guess I should have asked the doctor to give me a little something before I went into this room. You don't get free samples of benzos every day. All right, Junon. Cut the bullshit. Hi, Marie. Sorry I made you wait. I had to sort out a few things. A lot of things. But anyway, you knew I was coming eventually, didn't you? You've always had this weird gift of knowing what we're about to do before we even think about doing it. Once again, you were right. I'm here. But I almost didn't come in. I was close earlier, but I just stood outside the door. I was angry at you. I don't even know why. I mean, you're not exactly the warmest mother in the world. Still, why are things so complicated between us? Why do I always feel so threatened when I'm around you? Come on. A crucifix? You? Wait, is it... I remember now. I've seen this before. Was that last night? Oh, shit, now it's all hazy.
No. Alright, guys. We're gonna end the video here. Thank you so much for watching.